Set for live coverage here on ESPN of the ARCA 200. And for the command to start engines, it will be given by Debbie Sloneker from Bondo, who will give the starting command and get this thing underway here this afternoon. Let's go down to the starting line.
The marketing manager for Bondo Marhide, Debbie Sloneker.
Drivers, start your engines.
The tension now begins to lessen because the drivers are in their cars, their engines are fired, and now the attention is toward the task at hand, and that is going to the front and being there at the end of 80 laps, 200 miles, and taking home the victory here in the ARCA 200. We will have the 42-car starting lineup and the green flag as we begin our stock car race coverage for 1996 in a moment. Race Mike Skinner on the pole in the Childress Racing Chevy, qualified at 189.382. And outside of row number 1 will be Tim Steele from Coopersville, Michigan, in the HS Dye CIM Link Ford. Second row, Bob Schacht from Lombard, Illinois, car number 75, and Jeff Purvis from Clarksville, Tennessee, in the X1R Chevrolet, car number 1.
And back in the third row is Andy Hillenberg, last year's champion, alongside Harris DeBain. Row 4 we find Ron Barfield. This is a Bill Elliott protege in his first race, ARCA race, alongside Randall Ritter in car 31.
Bob Hill will start inside the next row, car number 46. Mark Thompson is alongside. In row number 6 on the inside will be C.W. Smith in car number 28. Doug Reed in number 05 on the outside of the 6th row.
And there's Darrell Lanigan, the first time on asphalt, alongside Jeff McClure in car 50. And in row 8, Mark Stahl and Perry Tripp.
Former series champion Bobby Boucher will begin from the 17th starting position, car 21, and young Kevin Ray in car number 2. In the 10th row will be car number 11, driven by Andy Thurman, and Blaze Alexander, 2 rookies. He drives car number 26.
Row 11, Dill Whittemore and Billy Thomas, a dirt track expert. Row 12 is Kelly Denton and Ed Dixon.
Gary Weinbrower goes from 25th starting position along with veteran Bobby Gerhart. In the 14th row, it's Scott Neal in car number 24 and Dale Kreider in car number 15.
And then in the 15th row, we find Wayne Larson and Shane Doe starting 29th. And Rob Smith and Glenn Brewer make up row 16.
Going to row number 17, it's Mark Gibson, a local driver, and John Stratman. In row number 18, Glenn Miller and David Froghall.
John Wilkerson is in row 19 alongside Delma Coward. In row 20, the side window's gone.
How about that?
Well, it's just loose.
It's going to be black flag to have to come in and fix it. So the story continues, BP.
There's Bob Dodds and Frank Kimmel, the provisionals for today.
And by the way, Frank Kimmel will be coming in very shortly after taking the green flag and accumulating the points, and Rick Shepard will take over that car. Boy, more bad luck from Shane Doles. Can you believe it?
No, can't.
And all this bad luck has meant just one thing, that he has become a household name. Well, you know, they did repair that side of the car. Maybe something just didn't, they forgot about something, or something just didn't go right.
Evidently, that is the side that he hit the...
Watch your speed. Anybody else finds a piece of Lexan, make something to go in there. I'm trying to get a piece back here from Hutch. Need to get something to cut this stuff with, a jigsaw preferably.
It's gone, isn't it, Kyle?
Yeah, it's gone. It's somewhere on the racetrack, evidently. It's blown out, and that's the worst thing that can happen. They're sitting here. They're sitting on pit road. You can hear it in his voice. He's getting ready to drop the green flag, and they don't have a spare. And if you look at the Winston Cup guys, everybody's got a spare on it. But I mean, this is bad.
Oh, man.
You know how it is, Benny. This is the most helpless feeling in the world to be sitting there and watch everybody drive off into turn 1.
And they're going to do that in just a few seconds. The cars are in turn 2.
Check with the official, see if that truck will bring it down here to us. He went out and picked it up.
There's one of the crew members running back to their garage area.
The safety crew has your window. It's okay.
He said he's got the window and it's okay, so Shane is saying, we'll tell the guy to bring it to us.
Yeah. It's okay for the safety guy. It's not okay for Shane. He doesn't have a window right now.
I cannot hear your radio at all. I get static. Throw that silver gun away.
The window
is broken up. You hear me now? The window is broken up. We got to get another one in here. Somebody's looking for one. He's trying to get one cut out.
So now they'll have to go buy a piece of Lexan or plexiglass and get a saw and saw it out.
And fit it and pop rivet it in.
Wow. Okay, meanwhile,
while he sits on pit road, helpless until help arrives and a new window arrives, the field, now 41 strong, just about to get the green flag. And we welcome you to our coverage. No, the lights are back on. They are not going to go green. They'll go at least one more time. Jerry, why do they bring the lights back on?
Well, the safety crew went out, guys, to pick up that window from Shane Dole's car. Noticed some possible debris coming off turn 2 on the back straightaway. So rather than turn these cars loose at over 190 miles an hour, they called off the start, and they will go out and check the backstretch and hold them at least one more lap before the green.
There's a safety vehicle going down the backstretch while Shane Doles once again sits helplessly here on pit road.
Saw that air hose in the window.
That'll work.
Anything will work as long as you put something in the right side, Shane. There's something.
I ain't gonna be able to see nothing though.
Yeah, I was going to say, does it have to be clear? Because he can't see anything out that thing.
The rule doesn't say anything about it being clear.
Really?
It's just
We
gotta be
can't do
closed
that.
in.
I got to be able to see.
Okay, well, Shane says he's not going to run with
I need
that.
something clear. I need something clear.
On the way with a piece of Lexan, get that other window, whoever's got it.
Bust it up.
Yeah, it's history.
Well, I'm glad my car doesn't have a piece of plexiglass in it down there, because my car would be junk right now.
That's exactly right. I'm surprised they didn't stop at one of those cars sitting back there and try to take the glass one out.
Looks like the safety truck is off of the racetrack. Look at, we're continuing here. One of the pit members still running down pit road.
As long as it's clear so I can see through it.
Man, what a feeling. What a helpless feeling. All this work they've gone through, and now they can't race.
Evidently that wasn't our window.
It wasn't their window? Is that what he said? Bill, what's the story down there?
Well, a crewman from another team went behind this pit carrying the exact part these guys need, and everybody started cheering,
stuck in
yelling,
there halfway decent. We'll cut this one out and go.
telling him this is where he needed to be, and he waved him off. He said, nope, we need this one down at the other end.
Well, this time, the field is going to get the green flag as Shane sits on pit road. The pace car has come in, and here comes the field toward the green flag. Our stock car racing season for 96 here on ESPN is underway, and so is the ARCA 200.
Number 3 is the Richard Childress car, the Super Truck champion of 1995, Mike Skinner. Looks like he will lead the first lap.
Skinner will lead the first lap. 16 Tim Steele right behind. Jeff Purvis in number 1 runs third. Bob Shackton 75 is fourth as they head off toward turn number 1 again and fan out 3 wide, well, almost 2 wide now going into the corner.
Ron Barfield in the blue and white number 94. That's the Bill Elliott protege. Got the car a little bit out of shape going down in turn 1. Looks like he ran into the apron with a left front.
There's the work that's going on in the Shane Dole's pit as they try to get that right side window filled in and get Shane back out on the racetrack.
That's Jeff McClure in the black car that we see in number 50 alongside Perry Tripp. The green car is number 6, Perry. There's Kevin Ray, the 18-year-old young man in car 2.
And Mark Stahl is right beside him in car number 32.
So lots and lots of side-by-side racing. Bob Hill in the red 46 and Harris DeBane.
Ron Barfield in the 94 and the 05 is Doug Reed from Hueytown, Alabama.
That's the young man that told us the other day on one of our shows that he went to Atlanta last year and didn't run fast enough. His daddy fired him. Put someone else in the car.
I know that feeling. I'm going to tell you.
He's a 4-time WKA karting champion. Hey, they're making progress down on pit road with Shane Doles. Meanwhile, the 02 car, Frank Kimmel, comes in. The driver change has been made.
Hold on, there 2 people out there.
There's our leader, Mike Skinner, the white number 3.
These 3 cars have broken away from the next 2. So it's Skinner,
Steele, and Purvis. Never nervous Jeff Purvis in 3rd spot.
4th place car is Bob Schacht.
Ron Barfield just cannot get off the bottom of the racetrack. That's him behind Jeff McClure. This is Harris DeBane's car, the camera on top of the vehicle.
And we have a yellow flag. Caution flag is out. We have a car that is spun coming off of corner number 4. That's the 15 car of Dale Kreider.
That's the car he just bought from the Pete Orr bunch. Man, well, I hope they don't race back to the line too hard because he's sitting there in the racetrack.
He's actually down in the entrance to the pit area, down on the apron, so it should not present a problem to the drivers as they come down and get the caution flag for the first time this afternoon. Pete Orr, I guess, is going to concentrate on the Busch Series.
Going to run the entire Busch 1996 Busch Series.
Shane Doles, meanwhile, sits down there, but it looks like they have made a lot of progress. They're not quite ready to send the car on the racetrack. There's Dale Kreider, who has brought out the first caution of the ARCA 200. We're back at Daytona, but we are under caution for the first time this afternoon as the number 15 car, driven by Dale Kreider from St. Petersburg, Florida, spun coming off of corner number 4. The car came to rest at the entrance to the pit area. Here is the field summary for you, showing where everybody is running at the moment, and the number in parentheses to the right of the driver's name is an indication of where these guys started. So you can see that Jeff McClure has moved up to 9th position after starting in 14th. The rest of the field summary as we take another break during this caution period, and we'll be back with green flag racing at Daytona International Speedway when we return. The aerial shots that we will be seeing throughout the afternoon are courtesy of the Blockbuster Video Blimp. And the captain today is Terry Dillard, who lives down the road in Orlando. Thanks for the great overhead shots here at Daytona. Here's Bill Weber.
Well, Bobby Bowser, the 2-time series champion, has been to pit road. He has a miss in the motor. His brother Gary went under the hood to check for plug wires. That's not it. So he's going to have to battle it here this afternoon. And remember, he finished 45 points behind Andy Hillenberg in the race to the championship last season. So every point is important, and they start counting them here today, guys. Let's go down to Dr. Punch.
And Bill, the first caution flag today came when Dale Kreider actually spun the car, and Dale You're pulling the helmet off. That's not a good sign. What happened?
No, sir. Well, we're just riding behind Bobby Bowser and trying to move forward. And what they tell me is the crank, the pulley on the front of the crank came off and spun me out when the motor locked up. For a minute, I thought I run over some trash because I felt a vibration. But, it was the front pulley getting loose.
This guy made it 18 out of 24 hours a couple of weeks ago, but he only makes it a few laps here today. Bob?
So Kreider is behind the wall, but Shane Doles is finally on the racetrack. The repairs have been made to that car, and after all the bad luck that he's had, he's about to turn his first lap of competition. Here comes the field down for a restart, and the green flag waves once again. It's still Skinner, Steele, Purvis, Schack, and Hillenberg, the top 5.
Some of the observers around the racetrack are reporting that Tim Steele might be losing some fluid. I would speculate it's probably water. And running behind Skinner, the car is running a little bit warm, and the overflow, water's coming out the overflow. But we'll wait and see. And also the ARCA officials are going to black flag Scott Neal for passing on the left on the restart. You cannot pass on the left side until you get to the start-finish line. You know that, don't you, Kyle?
I know it good. I thought it was Shane Doles for a minute. I saw a yellow car coming on the inside, and I said, oh, not something else happened there.
Here we go again. Now a battle for second place as Jeff Purvis has taken over second place from Tim Steele. They come down through the tri-oval and are side by side at the line. Steele on the outside in 16 and Purvis in number 1.
Tell you what, those guys had a handful up there in that corner as they passed each other.
I think as far as Tim goes, I think Skinner said it in the beginning that he had drafted with Tim, and he and Tim were going to race until the end of the race and then race their rear ends off. They were just going to ride around. I don't think anybody told Purvis that.
Look at Mike Skinner dipping low on the racetrack to try to break the draft. Now there's our scoring pylon over there on the upper left of your screen, showing the top 10 and how many laps there are to go. Is ready to make a bid for the lead. He shoots to the outside in that number 1 car, and going into turn 1 he takes the lead, and it looks like Tim Steele may come along.
He did that so easy. Does Skinner have a problem? Maybe they just got position off the tri-oval and went on the outside. Jerry Punch, does Skinner have a problem?
Well, he radioed in a moment ago, Benny. He thought he heard something rattling or popping, and I just checked with his crew, and Will told me they think they may have an exhaust pipe cracked in the car number 3. They had one cracked the other day in practice. Said it shouldn't affect it very much, if at all, but that may be what he's hearing in the car. Now, Tim Steele behind him also had a problem a moment ago. Apparently, he has some paper stuck to the right front grille on that car number 16. The paper now apparently has blown away, but the engine was starting to run hot and lose a little bit of water out the overflow.
So that was the fluid that the ARCA officials did in fact see coming from the 16 car.
The 29 car of Darrell Lanigan had a tire problem. He ducked in and out of the pits, and now Skinner into the number 3 car pulls into 4th position ahead of Andy Hillenberg as they get into single file formation down the backstretch. There's Hillenberg in the 52 car, the defending race and series champion. 2 victories last year. In addition to his win here at Daytona, he won at Flat Rock Speedway in May.
Well, now Skinner's coming back now.
Yeah, he is.
I think the first 3 cars, Skinner and Purvis and Steele, their cars are pretty equal. When Skinner tried to break the draft from him, the other 2 cars just lined up, got a good run as he broke the draft to the inside and then back out to the wall, just sucked up on him and went by him.
So Mike moves back up to 3rd position.
From the blimp, we can see the lines that the drivers take around the racetrack. They're running on the bottom of the racetrack. That's the preferred line now, Kyle?
It seems to be in the early going. If you watch these guys as they run, it's always that way through 3 and 4. You watch these guys run through 3 and 4, they run right dead on the bottom because the car seems to have a tendency to get a little pushy and want to work up the racetrack as you come off, as you kind of give the car a head to come off and head back towards the tri-oval. As you go into 1 and 2, you'll notice in the Winston Cup races and watch this ARCA race as they go on, when they're running in a tight pack, everybody will go to the outside to pass. They'll start running higher and higher. There's a really, really bad bump in between 1 and 2 that it's just tough to shock for. No matter what the Penske's do or the Bilsteins or the Oline shocks come out with, it's just hard to guard, man, and it rattles your teeth. It'll knock your fillings out about halfway through a race. So I think everybody just gets tired of it and moves up. But they run on the bottom right now since their tires are fresh. They're only 7 or 8 laps into a run. They'll run there, but towards the end of the run, they'll move up.
There's Bob Dodge in the 09 car.
Top 5 cars have broken away. We're riding with Jeff McClure, who started 14th and is currently up to 6th position. It's been a steady move to the front for Jeff McClure.
And there he's following Mark Thompson. And there's Ron Barfield. Mark Thompson in the 66, Jeff McClure in 50, and Ron Barfield in the 94.
McClure was 5th in the 1994 ARCA Bondo Marhide point standings. Kevin Ray in the blue number 2 car there. Sliding up in front of Scott Neal, the number 24.
That's the young man that was black flag for passing on the left on the restart, that yellow 24. Kevin Ray, his dad raced here in Daytona many times. John Ray
holds the tractor-trailer rig record at Talladega, does he not?
I think he does. As a matter of fact, he lives. Kevin and John live very near the Talladega Superspeedway.
How's Shane Doles doing? Well, he's at least racing.
He's on the racetrack. Camera, we'll see. We needed that so the camera could see out the right window as well, Kyle.
That's true. And that's the main thing. He's doing exactly what he needs to do now. He's got his car fixed. He's out there. He's making laps. And there's nothing better than making laps at Daytona because it pays off. Might not pay off this year or next year, but it'll pay off 2 or 3 years down the road.
He is 6 laps down, running in 41st position, but nevertheless, he is getting some experience.
And he's talking to the crew as he's going through that right thumb. He's pushing the button down, talking to the crew as he goes through the corner.
That thing looks pretty good today compared to what it has looked like in the previous few days.
It looked like the wreck of the old 97, didn't it?
That's right.
Not much, not turning the wheel, sawing the wheel back and forth.
No.
Very calm on the steering wheel.
He's just
so watch it.
Just
Bobby Bowser that we see that Shane Doles is going by. So Bowser's car obviously on 7 cylinders.
He's obviously running fairly well because when we first went to this shot, there was nobody in his. You looked out his windshield and there was nobody there.
Right.
And all of a sudden he has run down a pack.
Yep. Back to Jeff McClure looking back on Ron Barfield.
4760.
Ron Barfield, that's an R&D car for Bill Elliott, and we don't have any idea what kind of parts might be on this car that Elliott is testing for the Winston Cup car. Shocks, springs, engine parts.
Barfield coming to ARCA after winning Rookie of the Year honors in 1994 in the Slim Jim All-Pro Series. Now McClure looks to the bottom of Mark Thompson. Jerry Punch has more on the 94 car driven by Barfield.
You know, Ron Barfield had never driven on a super speedway until today, but of course he was Rookie of the Year in the All-Pro Series, and back in the wintertime, spent 2 days, 8 hours a day at Talladega, and 3 days, 8 hours a day right here at Daytona, drafting with one of the best, Bill Elliott, who's his car owner. Now, what Elliott told him about being in the racetrack, race traffic was, on a plate track like Daytona, you keep your right foot glued to the floor and use your left foot just to tap the brakes slightly when you run up on traffic. If you back off that throttle foot, they're going to run off and leave you.
Is that right, Kyle? You got to keep your foot all the way down and brake with the left foot.
That's about the best thing to do. What happens with these cars with a restrictor plate motor is there is no acceleration at all, none at all. So once you're out and try to get back in, it takes longer to build up the speed than if you just drag the brake. So most everybody, that's why they've gone. As you know, they used to go to the real thin rotors and the light calipers and stuff to get as much brake away from the car as you could at the speedway. Now everybody's running the same stuff at Daytona that they run at Martinsville.
Bill, looks like the hood's going up on Bowser's car.
Yeah, he radioed in just a few laps ago. They were talking about it. He's definitely got a miss in there. I just talked to Gary a couple laps earlier. He said it hasn't gotten any better. They told Bobby he could take it behind the wall if he wanted to. He's elected to put it in here. They fueled it. They're under the hood, and that's where they're going to be working. We're at the Daytona International Speedway for the ARCA 200. Stay with our coverage right here on ESPN.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, ESPN, on the air live with the ARCA 200 that's being led by Jeff Purvis at the moment. There he is in car number 1. We'll show you a field summary where all of your favorite drivers are running at the moment. Skinner back there in the white number 3 is second. Looks like Hillenberg is trying to challenge for that 4th position. Couldn't get the job done.
Oh, he did get the job done. He just passed
did.
Bob. Pay attention. He passed him. He's now 4th spot, and Shaq is back in 5th. And that's Tim Steele in the 3rd spot.
The 21 car of Boucher is behind the wall. The 57 car of John Stratman is on pit road. And BP, before we go any further, we have to welcome a new race fan into the world. He is just about 9 hours old right now. William Michael Sifferlin was born this morning at 5 o'clock. He is the son of John and Mary Beth. John is the producer of ESPN Speed Week. So 8 pounds, 10 ounces. Welcome to the world, William Michael Sifferlin. Here's Jerry Punch.
Guys, prior to the race today, there was a drafting coalition struck and consummated with a handshake. Actually, what happened was Mike Skinner agreed with Tim Steele. They would shake hands and draft together and run away from the 52 and the 1 car. But what's happened because of speed differentials, they have switched partners, and now Skinner, who was going to go to school on learning how to draft, tries to make a move on Jeff Purvis. So best laid plans, huh, Kyle? Sometimes they don't always work out.
They never work. And when you pick a drafting partner, you might as well just be talking to yourself, because nobody's going to help anybody except themselves.
It's like taking the ugly girl to the prom because she was available, and after you get there, you notice she is available, so you dance with her all evening.
Exactly. But she's got a good personality.
Yeah, right.
Purvis is running an entirely different line than Skinner. Now there's a slower car up in front. I think that's Wayne Larson. Yes, it is, that they're going by. So Purvis is not able to run the low side, but he normally runs right on the bottom of the racetrack. And Skinner moves up a little bit. Look at this heavy traffic they're encountering now.
They're in heavy race traffic. Go to the bottom of the racetrack. Go down way below the white line. 3 abreast into the corner, and they make the pass successfully.
Ooh, Randall Ritter in the 31 car. Gary Weinbroer in 77. What was that went by, they said.
I don't think they saw him coming.
Now that we still have that same problem with the 3rd, 4th, and 5th place cars.
Bobby Boucher's problems continue. Let's check in with that situation.
Former 2-time champion, you've had 2nd place finishes at Daytona and Talladega, but not today, Bobby. What happened?
Well, we picked up a mess. I don't know if it was fuel or electrical, and just one of them things. We started going backwards. We come in, checked it out, and couldn't find out what was wrong. So Quality Farm Fleet Ford Thunderbird there, I was just trying to back up a little bit and get a little bit of room so I could race a little bit, and then it just started missing. But we just had to come back another day and try it again. But the car felt real good the first few laps.
You chased this championship all the way to the last race last year. I know this has to crush you.
Well, you know, you got to start out the year a lot better than what we do, you know, and the playing catch-up is hard to do, and then it kind of drags you down through the whole course of the year, and it makes it hard at the end of the year. So we just have to go home and see what we can do and go to Atlanta next month, where my luck hasn't been too good, and try to change it there. But I'll be home tomorrow, Britt.
Bobby Boucher won the pole award title in 1995, taking 5 Talladega pole positions. The race was an early one for him here today.
Blaze Alexander in the 26 car made just a pit stop just a moment ago, and the ARC official said, too fast on pit road, so he'll have to come back in. As a matter of fact, he's doing that right now.
There's 3rd and 4th. 16 is Tim Steele. 52 is Andy Hillenberg. On the right of your screen now is the 75 car of Bob Schacht, and he is 5th.
These cars run on the bottom of the racetrack. Then and there's where you're talking about the bump.
Yeah, there's a I'm gonna have to go talk to these guys, see what shocks they're running. I can't run down there, but there's a really bad bump over there. Earnhardt's really, really good, and that's where he's been so strong the last 3 or 4 years in the Winston Cup division. He and Sterling and those guys, because they can run through that and they make their car work there all day. A lot of guys, including myself, haven't been able to do that over the last couple of years.
Harris Devane in the 33. 46 is Bob Hill, and Perry Tripp in 6.
He's smoking, Benny?
Yeah, they tell me that he is losing some fluid or smoking. He's going to be black flag.
Perry Tripp is a former open wheel driver, used to run some sprint car and some USAC Silver Crown races.
Bob Hill tries to take a look on the inside of Harris Devane, and he does.
That's Kevin Ray coming up on these 3 cars in number 2.
Yeah, we saw the smoke that time out of the back of Perry Tripp's car.
Oh yeah, you can see it pretty obviously now. Now on your scoring pylon are the manufacturers represented in the top 10. We have a couple of Chevrolets leading and one running in 4th position, but otherwise it's a Ford show here at Daytona.
This is Harris Devane, the roof cam. Bob Hill in front.
Harris Devane was one of co-rookie of the year last year. He and Dill Whittemore, they finished with the same number of points, and so they just gave the honor to both men. Here is 1st and 2nd, Purvis in 1, Skinner in 3.
You heard Mike Skinner at the top of the show say thanks to Jeff and Dale for Racing for Kids. My understanding is Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt purchased Racing for Kids. That's a magazine designed towards children, 5 to 10-year-old kids, and it is a great magazine. I get it, and
it's a really good magazine. If you, especially in the Southeast, most of the libraries, I know the schools that my kids go to, you see a copy of it or 4 or 5 copies in every school library you go to. So it gets kids excited. There's a lot of school projects out there that have to do with Winston Cup racing, where they teach 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders about numbers and adding and subtracting and things like that by using race cars. So it's a big plus, and it's good for Dale and Jeff to get involved like that.
And folks, if you're concerned about some things that are offensive to kids that are involved in racing, all that is airbrushed off the pictures that they use in Racing for Kids.
Perry Tripp has heeded the black flag and come in for the check. He was smoking rather badly while he was out there on the racetrack. Scheduled pit stops should be coming up soon. We'll be back for those when we return to Daytona. Right now it's a 2-car race in the ARCA 200. The leader is Jeff Purvis, and right behind him is Mike Skinner, but we have pit stops coming up, and they're going to make their first scheduled pit stops at about the halfway mark. Doc, what's the strategy down there?
Bob, that's basically it. If you can make it to 40 laps to come in, 1 stop, fill it up with fuel and get it full of fuel, put on 4 tires, although tires aren't really a factor. They'll put them on anyway because of concern about debris. Then they'll go out and run the final 40 laps. Now remember, there are at least 7 teams down here who have Winston Cup crews pitting their car. Kelly Denton has the Mike Wallace crew. Darrell Lanigan has a combination of the Jasper, the Bobby Hillin crew, and the Jeremy Mayfield, Kerry Yarborough crew. Ron Barfield has the Bill Elliott crew. Scott Neal, the Sterling Marlin crew. Now close toward the front, the Earnhardt crew, Winston Cup crew will be pitting Mike Skinner, and Jeff McClure will have the Bud Moore crew pitting his car. So, and one driver who made his first start today on asphalt, well, it was a short one. He's standing by with Bill Weber.
Darrell Lanigan, your first start here, obviously a short one. You want the next one to be longer. What put you out today?
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing. We had a tire equalizer at the beginning. Then we just dropped a valve in, so we didn't have no luck today. The car felt good. It was running good when we got out there with the other group of cars, but no luck.
A dream come true for most drivers to compete here at Daytona. How did it feel to you?
Oh, it felt pretty good. We wasn't too nervous. So, I mean, I guess that meant a bunch because we got out there and we ran pretty good with them guys. So we'll try them again in Atlanta.
Darrell Lanigan out for the day.
Kyle, what do you figure? Mike Skinner falls back and then he drives up behind Jeff Purvis. Is he overheating and he's going back to cool the thing down and make another run? What's the deal?
You know, I think he's just playing. You know, I think at the beginning of the race, he pretty much said what he wanted to do. He pretty much said it in the opening interview that he wanted to just run until they got down to the last part of the race, and then he was going to give everything he had. And he drafts up on him, you know, and he sucks up. And you watch him. He runs. Skinner will run the low line through 3 and 4, and then he'll run up apple lane. Then he'll run high, and then he'll run low again. And he's all over the racetrack. He's just figuring out what his car is going to do on old tires with a little bit of fuel in it if it gets down to being 80 on the 72nd, 73rd, 74th lap, where these other guys continue to run their main line. I think he's driving a pretty sharp race right now. He's trying to figure out what his car's going to do on old tires and no fuel.
Well, we drop our coverage back here a little bit and check on 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's Blaze Alexander, 26. Now he's a couple laps down.
Yeah.
Because he made a pit stop and then was penalized for going too fast. But it looks like the new tires, Kyle, are a lot faster, because look how much faster he is than Bob Jack.
I tell you, new tires have been a plus in the Winston Cup garage area this week. This is a different compound, a different company and stuff. But the way the racetrack is, and you know, Benny, you pave a racetrack, everything sticks. As the racetrack gets older and older and older, new tires become more and more a factor. And even at a place like this, they might not be faster, but for 2 or 3 laps. But those 2 or 3 laps, it makes you feel good. You know how it is when you get to Rockingham and Darlington. You love new tires.
Andy Hillenberg now comes up on some slower traffic. There's Hillenberg in the number 52 car. Tim Steele in number 16. Steele going for 4 wins in a row. He won the last 3 races in 1995. Meanwhile, once again, Skinner has caught right up to Jeff Purvis. Doc?
Well, Mike Skinner has a bit of a push in the car. They're going to make an air pressure change when they pit here in about 2 laps. But the big concern, the reason he's been backing up and coming forward, is they are going to try to work out a deal to pit with the 1 car. Those 2 guys to pit simultaneously in about 2 or 3 laps at the halfway point. So he backed up, moved up on Purvis and moved back, so we can basically follow Purvis down pit road. Remember, Skinner has never been here in an ARCA event, so pit road speed is very, very important.
And that's a good point. Backing off to get in the pits is very critical, because they're out there running 190 miles per hour, and they got to slow down to pit road speed of 65 miles per hour. And where do you start doing that? Do you do it when you come off turn 4? Do you do it going in turn 3? Purvis will be able to lead him in.
Yeah, it's very critical. First time I came here in '79 to test, Dale Inman said pit road speed is the most critical thing, judging where to come in. I came off turn 4 there running about 180, and when I came out the other end of pit road, I was still running about 140 or 50. There was no way I was going to get that car wound down. First time I'd ever tried it, and it was an important lesson for me.
All right, Purvis and Skinner stay out on the racetrack. And when they complete 1 more lap, it will be the halfway mark. $1,000 goes to the driver who leads at the halfway point. So apparently Purvis wants to put that money in his pocket, and then he'll come in for the pit stop.
Or Skinner knows that. Maybe, do we have a radio? Can I call Skinner and tell him there's $1,000 to the halfway leader? I guess we can't tell him.
Nah, probably not a good idea.
That's a Richard Childress team. He probably knows it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They pick up every dollar that's laying on the table. You can count on that.
Jeff Purvis has won 3 super speedway events in 93 and 94. Here he comes down through the tri-oval, and the cross flags are being displayed. Jeff Purvis wins the auto value halfway money of $1,000. Perry Tripp is smoking badly again and dropping down to the apron.
Yeah, he made a pit stop as dictated by the ARCA officials, and they looked at it and I guess thought it wouldn't be too bad. He goes back on the racetrack, and we can see that it is smoking worse now than it was just a few laps ago.
We've only had 1 caution flag in the first half of this race. That was for a minor spin by Dale Kreider coming off of corner number 4. Everything else has been clean and green. But now pit stops are about to occur. Let's look up toward turn number 4 and see if Jeff Purvis, yep, Purvis and Mike Skinner are both coming in.
Also Billy Thomas in the 22 car. Now that's going to be some traffic in their way as they come down pit road. That could help those guys running back in 3rd, 4th, and 5th. There you see they got to follow Thomas.
And Skinner comes awfully close to running into the back of Purvis because Purvis had to get on the brakes to avoid hitting Thomas. Now here they both come down toward turn number 1. Skinner will arrive in his area first. Jerry?
And they will change all 4 tires. Remember, they had a push. They've already made an air pressure adjustment on the tire they're putting on the right front before they would go on. Now, 1 on the top of your screen, 3 on the bottom. Purvis on top, Skinner on the bottom. Left side tires going on the 3 car. Let's check in down the Purvis pit.
4 tires for Jeff Purvis. Now they've changed their mind. It's only going to be a 2-tire stop. Right sides only. Waiting on fuel. The fuel's in and Purvis is away. Skinner charging down pit road and will go by him after they've exited the pit. Andy Hillenberg also leads. Following Tim Steele as all the leaders pit here.
And Purvis just cannot get his car up to speed. We can see he's still back there trying to get it up to speed.
I don't know if Purvis missed a gear or what happened, but I mean, as he left pit road, he all but stopped at the entrance to the infield course there. I mean, he slowed down so slow that a couple of cars went by him.
Bob Schack in the top 10 is now in for a pit stop as Purvis tries to get back up to speed. Jeff McClure is the leader at the moment as pit stops are happening. Here, look how close this is. Skinner running into the back of Purvis.
Well, Billy Thomas in the 22 is going to the garage area. I mean, he's out for the day, and you see the 6 car pulls in his way. Both of those cars are going in, and you can see the 1 and 3 almost ran in the back of those cars.
Here is Bob Schack. Bill, he's in your area.
And he's going to take on 4 tires for his Taco Bell Ford Thunderbird. They've already done the right sides. The fuel is complete. This has taken a long time. They're working on the left side. McClure coming in with a 3-car draft. Now Schack is down, and he gets a push, and he's away, but that took a long time. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
And our leader after that pit stop here is Jeff McClure. He will come down pit road. And McClure at 65 miles an hour. That's the speed on pit road. It seems like an eternity. It must to a driver from the end of pit road all the way down to where McClure is pitting. A combination of the Bud Moore and Wood Brothers crew now pitting the car number 50 owned by Bobby Jones. Right side tires going on. Looks like they will only make a 2-tire change. And they fill it up with fuel, first can going in, and they're waiting to get it full of fuel. They could have probably already changed left side tires, and now the car is down and away in less than 19 seconds, but only 2 tires.
Pulling out right behind him is Ron Barfield. Here is Doug Reed, who is completing the work on his 05 car and coming in. Harris DeVane, Kevin Ray, and Bob Hill all looking for pit stops here.
And 65 miles per hour. That is pit road speed. And you see the white lines on pit road? The ARCA officials have a stopwatch. They time these cars between those white lines, and they can't be but so fast. Here's Bill Weber.
And waiting on last year's co-rookie of the year to pull in. He's got the 46 car right behind him. Almost didn't see his pit. Now he yanks it left on the wheel and pulls it in. The 33 car sits. They're going to go to the right side first. Let's see if they take 4 tires. It's also right side tires for the 46. Fuel going in. They'll clean the windshield and the front grille. You might notice that the 33 car doesn't have his name on it. It's being used for another event here as a movie production company. He's shooting some scenes here. Harris DeVane with 2 tires gets away in 21 and change. Now the 46 car also right side is only, and he's away.
And there comes Bob Schack, looks like, and the 94 car, Ron Barfield and Jeff McClure. So Schack has fallen back to that group. That is Bob Schack, isn't it? This is 33, Harris DeVane, as he shifts the car